Hello and welcome to the Big J channel. Today I'm going to be talking about the top 5 bad things about living in Spain. So the first thing that I came across when I came here, and for those guys out there that don't like bad-mouthing culture in any way, I suggest you turn off now. I'm not going to be politically correct about this. I didn't like some of the attitudes that I got from the Spanish. That's a generalization, and that wasn't all Spanish people, but there was a surprising number of them. Funny ideas about how, like, Spain's place in the world. Funny ideas about traditions and religions, and quite insular looking kind of like worldviews, with Spain obviously at the very center of it all. This was irritating to say the least, especially when you know the figures and you know the numbers and you know Spain's real place in the world. So to hear that constantly was tiresome, to be honest. So, but after a while you sort of tune out to it, you realize that, you know, they've been subject to conditioning since day one. They had the Franco era and things like that. And this generally tends to be old people. So the young people have much better attitudes. A lot of young people trying to learn English, trying to get jobs abroad. So they're very outward looking. So that was the thing with the attitudes. It was, to be honest, infuriating. So on the subject of young people, there was one thing is to, you know, you have your political views, but there's a very leftist streak going through the young people of Spain. I don't know if you Google it, you'll find out that the party called Podemos sprung into the last elections with millions and millions of votes, and they were mainly young people, and they are basically communists. Just short of, really. Some of the things that they were suggesting were very, very left-wing, and that I found quite irritating to have to listen to. Things like, we're going to renege on the debt to the European Union and things like this, and like they were actually encouraging it and things like that. So that's what the kind of comments that you'll be subjected to if you go out to bars and hang around with young Spanish people. Some point or other you're going to come across comments like that. And that, with regards to the debts, that kind of gets around to government spending, which is the next thing. Some of the taxes can come as a bit of a shock, like property tax. When I bought my property, I paid 8,000 euros for the right to buy a property. And then some of the things that they spend the money on are questionable, to say the least. Like, even though the technology exists for automatic metro, and even trains, there's a very strong union, or strong unions in Spain, and that results in the Spanish government unable to introduce technologies that would save the Spanish taxpayer a lot of money, and basically make everything work a lot smoother. The number of strikes that I have been the victim of, not being able to get around Madrid because of the suggestion that they maybe make things a little bit streamlined and get rid of a few people that really aren't doing anything at all. They're just playing on their phones all day and taking up space and claiming a government check at the end of every month, and they can't do anything about them because these unions are so strong. It's incredible. So that is number 4, government spending, taxes, and the huge waste of money that you will read in the papers every single day if you live here. I'm talking to people who are living here. I'm not talking to American backpackers or anywhere backpackers, really. You guys are here for a very short amount of time. Yep, sun, beach, drink, very good, over. I'm talking to people who come and live here full time. You're going to pay taxes. and you're going to have to put up with parties going on till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, paid for with government money. Big fiestas in the centre of the squares. Don't rent a house or buy a house near the centre of a barrio or a village or anything. You will not get any sleep because they have about 50,000 parties every year. So the next one, number three. TV is rubbish. Now, even if you understand Spanish, and the Spanish will tell you this themselves, well, not all of them, I assume that some people are watching these TV channels, but they are absolutely dreadful. They are not funny. They are low budget, low quality TV, and the absolute worst of this has to be a program called Sálvame, which is all about attention seeking. I can't even think of words to describe it. It's just dreadful. You have Google it, you'll watch it yourself. It's dreadful. And so that kind of carries over onto some of the YouTube blogs, which you've probably watched yourself. There are some good guys out there, yeah, there are, but they're not in the same abundance as they are for other parts of the world. Okay, so now, being a little bit of an anarchist or like a rebel when I was younger, this may sound a bit ironic now, but rule breaking in Spain is number 2. Rule breaking, and the first place that you're probably going to experience this is driving a car. Rules are broken left, right, and centre, just everywhere, to the point that it's dangerous. People jumping the lights, people not stopping when the lights are on red, parking in the middle of yellow sections, parking anywhere that they damn well please, really. And this is the rules. This is number 2, the rules and rule breaking. Is that the government, it is so prolific. It's happened in one day. You can see so many rules, laws, bylaws, rules inside, like not laws, but rules inside establishments like libraries or, no, I don't know a library, but you know, all kinds of rules in life, broken all the time, everywhere. And it's so prolific that the government basically condones it. And from what I've been able to read, and I'm sure I'm going to get comments from Spanish lawyers saying you're absolutely wrong, but the laws seem to be written in quite a vague way that almost encourage the breaking of rules, because it's not quite sure whether you have or haven't broken the rule in the first place. And then they just pick out the people that they do want to do, like people they don't like, for example. So it's like selective punishment, really. I've seen policemen break rules. I've seen them break rules all the time. I have seen policemen driving past me smoking. I've seen them drive past me on their mobile phone. It's everywhere, all the time. Okay, but the number one rule that you will not escape, that it will hit you like a ton of bricks, is getting anything done, especially when it's about the government. Any forms that you need, bureaucracy is insane. Something that you could probably do online in 10 minutes. In most of the north of Europe, the US, Australia, here requires you to physically go in person, stand, I think I mentioned this in one of the other videos, stand for a long time in a queue just to get a form or to book an appointment, then to come back. Now this is starting to change, but it's still terrible. And it's a complete lottery. There are, for every one department that you would have in any of those other countries that I just mentioned, you have about 5 here, and you have to run between them. And some are run really well, and some are run terribly, and it's absolutely potluck as to what you get. So that would be my number 1. Getting anything done, even in the private sector. Let's forget about the government for a minute. In the private sector, just shops not opening when they're supposed to open. Number one irritation. Not putting the prices, this is connected to the rules again. Not putting prices on food properly. It's like a lottery. The number of times that I've had to ask how much something is in a shop is incredible. Like, you'd have thought this would be straightforward. Really basic things that you just take for granted anywhere else take an exceedingly long time to get done here. And this is hindered by, so even when you have a right person in front of you, whose job it is to do what he wants, they talk so much. I know this is ironic because I'm doing a YouTube video and talking quite a lot, but you're in a rush to do something and it's chitter chatter. They'll be talking to their mates, they'll be, talk. I will say though, that the flip side to that is that when you're actually in your job, there's a lot less pressure you don't have to bust your ass as much. So that does come with a flip side, like, to it. So that's it. That's my top 5 lists of bad things about living in Spain. Let me know if this has been your experience. Let me know if you totally disagree. I don't want to hear like politically correct things about how I shouldn't be slagging off the Spanish, because I'm going to do one about the English as well, and probably the Australians. So get used to it, live with it. We're in the Trump era now. We can speak freely now. So let me know.